I really don't know why this is necessary. I told you exactly what happened. I was tricked into making that confession.
Raven, relax.
Spencer Varney and his friends conned me into saying what I did exactly the way they conned me for weeks.
I didn't say you had to attend this meeting. It's purely voluntary. I'll call it off if you want to.
No, I want to get this over with. The sooner the better.
Yes. Yes. Ask them to come in, please.
Well, what do you think, Mrs. Whitney? I'm told I bear a striking resemblance to your late husband.
Mr. Whitney, Mr. Varney, thank you for coming. Won't you sit down, please?
Thank you.
Mr. Karr?
Yes, Mr. Varney.
Would you explain to us the exact purpose of this meeting?
It's simple enough. We all know what the problem is, and we all know how complex the issue is we're dealing with. I thought it might be beneficial if we all got together and talked it over.
Beneficial for whom?
Mr. Whitney and I aren't opposed to any meeting, Mr. Karr. That's why we're here. But if you're thinking in terms of a compromise, the answer is no.
There is to be no compromise. The issues are all well known now.
That's easy for you to say. You're not the one being asked to give up everything.
You're not being asked to give up anything, my sweet. What you have does not belong to you.
Mr. Varney, what we must clear up first is the manner in which you obtained the so-called confession from Mrs. Whitney.
I know that Mrs. Whitney is claiming that the confession was obtained under duress. That may be true, but it doesn't alter the facts.
She told the truth. It doesn't matter why.
It's not as if I was a police officer obtaining illegal evidence. I acted as a private citizen.
I understand, but I'm afraid there's another complication.
Oh, and what's that?
I think Mrs. Whitney should tell you.
It was a lie.
What was a lie?
My confession was a lie. Not one word of it is true.
I was there, Raven, remember?
You made me do it, Spencer. You know you made me do it. And if I hadn't done it, I would have been blown up in that building along with
Mr.
Smiley.
Karr, you're not going to sit there and listen to this, are
It's not the truth. My husband was not the imposter. You are. Conspiracy, and you were the one who organized the whole thing just to get me to make that ridiculous confession.
I knew nothing about the scam until I followed Nora Fulton to the phony precinct house.
That is a lie.
Raven, from your own account of what happened, you never saw Mr. Varney until after you were released on bail.
Well, he was working behind the scenes.
But Mr. Varney's account matches that given to us by Jim Dietrich.
I am the victim around here, not them! Spencer, you know you tricked me. You know that confession was a lie because I didn't even kill Jinx Avery.
I got it directly from Mr. Gentry. Signature was genuine.
Mr. Karr, you heard the tape.
Yes, Mr. Whitney, I heard the tape.
Did it sound phony to you?
That would be difficult to ascertain.
Well, was Mrs. Whitney prompted in any way? Did it sound as if Spencer was trying to give her the answers?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Spencer told me everything I was supposed to say.
That's not true.
Mrs. Whitney, I understand that recently you've been through a rather harrowing experience in which you imagined that you might very well lose your freedom. You know that could still come to pass.
What are you talking about?
In exchange for a calm, orderly transfer of all property immediately to me, I would be willing to forgo any criminal charges against you. And considering the preponderance of evidence against you, I can imagine that it will be very likely that the next place you'll be, you might just be lucky to have a toothbrush to call your own.
You're nowhere near the man my husband was.
All right, that's enough. I want you both to stop these charges.
Mr. Karr, what is your opinion?
If I gave you an opinion, it would be strictly a personal one.
I'd like to hear it just the same.
The one fact that seems irrefutable to me is that Mrs. Whitney did not volunteer that confession. Judging from the testimony about the faked murder and the false incarceration, there's no question that whatever the truth of this matter, that confession was obtained under duress. In a court of law, it would be inadmissible.
Thank you, Mike. I'll talk to you soon.
Slow down, they might run out of that stuff.
Yeah. Or we run out of money to pay for it. You know how much this suit's sending back? Did you bring any money with you?
I have some. think I better check at the bar and make sure they accept credit cards.
Libby. Oh, sorry, I was... Did you happen to see a telephone around here?
There's one at the bar.
Do you still have that telephone credit card?
Yes. Why?
Let me have it, I need it. I'll make a long-distance call. A very long-distance call. Yeah. Allô?
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 Allô? Allô, qui est à l'appareil?
C'est François?
Oui, c'est moi, oui. Qu'est-ce
François,
que vous voulez?
c'est Bruno qui est là?
Écoutez, parlez un peu plus fort, je ne comprends pas un mot à ce que vous racontez. Oui. Bruno.
Bruno?
Bruno, je
Bruno,
sais pas
oui.
qui c'est, votre Bruno. Il n'y a pas de
Oui,
Bruno.
he's there, I don't believe it. Oui, c'est très important.
Vous
Oui.
êtes américain. Attendez une petite seconde.
I don't believe it, he's actually there.
Who is?
A man named Bruno. Hello? Bruno? Bruno, is that you?
Who is this?
Let's just say I'm a friend. I'm calling from the United States. Now, Bruno, is that you? Can you hear me, Bruno?
Double whiskey, s'il vous plaît. Yeah, I hear you, mister, but I'm not going to listen to you if you keep on calling me by that stinking name. My name is Gunther.
Wait a minute. Gunther is dead. Now listen to me, Bruno.
Who are you
Please
calling
listen.
your
Wait,
friend?
just hang on. I want to talk to you about your brother, about Gunther. I want to talk about the last couple of years in his life, the man he worked for.
So who the hell wants to know?
The man called himself Skylar Whitney.
Look, Whitney is dead, mister, and so is my stinking brother, so what do you say we just let them both rot in hell?
But you did know that he worked for him, right?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, my brother is driving Sky Whitney around in hell.
Bruno, don't hang up! He hung up.
Can you please tell me what this is all about?
Did you know that Gunther had a brother?
Yes. Never talked about it. It's not unusual. I have a sister I haven't even thought about in years.
Well, he had a brother. He was a twin. His name was Bruno. They hated each other. I don't think they spoke in years. They had a fight over a woman, I think, when they were young.
Did you think Bruno could tell you something about Jefferson Brown?
Well, he might. He might be able to tell me why Gunther would work for someone who was a phony.
That's not hard to figure out, Skylar.
He said the damnedest thing, though. He said that he wasn't Bruno. He said that he was Gunther.
You mean he changed his name?
Changed his name to the name of a brother that he hated? No, I don't think that's very likely.
Why did he do it then?
I don't know. But that could not have been Gunther Wagner.
Why not? You're Skylar Whitney, aren't you? Doesn't the world think you're dead?
Please don't slam the door in my face. Not till you hear what I have to say to you. Boy, you really have a lot of nerve coming over here. I'll go in there and call the police right now.
If they were going to arrest me, they would have done it by now. I haven't been hiding. I've been staying at the Monticello Motel. Please, let me come in and talk to you. You won't regret it.
All right. Did you know the Wilson brothers were dead?
Yeah, I know that.
And I saw Spencer just a few hours ago with that phony who calls himself Skylar Whitney.
Yes, I heard about him. But it was all news to me, I swear. I didn't know anything until Spencer told me about it.
Oh, right. You didn't know anything about it. You're just an innocent victim, right?
No, I was one of them. I did everything they told me to do.
Oh, you did everything they told you to do, but you're still innocent.
I know it's hard to believe.
Listen! My memory is not that short, honey. It was only a few weeks ago when you sat in that other room and you told me that the smartest thing for me to do would be jump bail and go to New York and meet up with Wolfie Thorne and leave the country. And you knew the whole time that I did not commit that murder.
Yes, I knew, and I can't tell you how ashamed I am for what I did.
Oh, so you came here to apologize. Well, how sweet.
Not to apologize, to explain. I did what I did because I was afraid.
Well, did they point a gun at your head because they did mine?
The weapon wasn't a gun. It was the past.
The what?
Spencer knew something about me. He told Smiley, and Smiley blackmailed
Do
me.
you expect me to believe all this?
Spencer knew something about me that I've been hiding for years, see. I mean, if anybody finds out, I'll never have a decent job again.
What's that?
I was in a mental hospital.
Well, it doesn't surprise me.
I was there for years. They had me in the violent ward most of the time. Don't you see?
No, I don't see.
This job meant a lot to me. It still does. Please, just forgive me and give me the job back. You won't regret it. I mean, those people in New York, they were Smiley's friends. Smiley gave me Wolfie's name. Smiley was behind everything.
Oh, yeah, right. Since Smiley's dead, he can't deny anything, can he?
I'm really ashamed of what I did. Please.
Nora, get out of my house! You almost caused me to be killed. You've almost caused me to lose everything I have. You and Spencer and all the rest of them. Now, do you think I can possibly forgive you for that?
All right, Mrs. Whitney. But you're making a big mistake. You need me. You need someone just like me, being the kind of person you are.
What kind of person does she think I am?
Yes, operator. Please, just keep trying. Yes, I'll be at this number. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Well, that's got to be it, Spencer. That's the only explanation I can think of. Jeff knew that he wouldn't be able to fool Gunther, so he didn't even try.
Say that again.
Jeff knew that he would never be able to fool Gunther because Gunther knew me so well. He knew me like a book. He knew my ways. He knew everything about me.
He also couldn't be sure that Gunther wouldn't blow the whistle on him.
Right. So he did the only thing he could. He hired himself another Gunther.
You mean Bruno?
Yeah. I mean, he is a twin, a legitimate twin. He wasn't a Dr. Bryson's imitation. He also knew that there was a feud between the two brothers. And he knew that Bruno would probably love to take his brother's job.
You saying that Bruno knew nothing about Jefferson Brown?
Right? I mean, he must have thought he was genuine.
And then he would have to call him Gunther because that's what the world expected.
Yes. Yes, operator.
C'est encore cet Américain.
Yeah?
Gunther? It's me again, the man from the States.
Now listen, dummy. If you call me one more time, I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna wrap that telephone wire around your silly little neck.
Shut up and listen. Listen to my voice.
I've already heard your crummy voice.
And listen to it again. Now, don't you know who this is? Never mind what you heard, Gunther. I am not dead.
What?
I'm not dead, Gunther. Any more than you are. I'm alive.
Another double whiskey, s'il vous plaît. Vite, vite, vite. Il est vivant. Monsieur Whitney, il est vivant. Now, it really is you, isn't it, Mr. Whitney?
It's right, Gunther. It is.
Raven, I hate to see you like this. You have worked yourself up into an awful state of nerves. And if you don't sit down and try to pull yourself together, then you may fly apart in all directions.
I can't help it. I am going crazy.
I still think you'd feel better if you had something to eat. You haven't eaten a thing since...
No, I don't want anything to eat. I can't eat.
Raven, when you can't eat, something is radically wrong.
Well, how do you expect me to think about food at a time like this? Someone is trying to take away all my money, and I am going insane!
Oh, for heaven's sake, stop dramatizing yourself. Haven't you been through enough real-life drama recently without predicting the end of the world for yourself? I'm telling you, it isn't anything of the sort. Now, you sit down and think about this calmly.
Look, the only thing that I can think about is someone is trying to take away everything, and they're not going to do it. Because I went through hell to get all of this. And I am not going to let anyone take it away without a fight.
Now, you listen to me, my girl. Whatever is right and whatever the law permits is what you're going to have to abide by. You'll save yourself a lot of grief if you will understand that fact. In any case, it isn't as if you were going to be thrown out on the street.
Oh, yeah? That's exactly what they're trying to do to me.
Raven, you are what is called a survivor in more ways than one.
That's right. And I am not going to let them take anything that belongs to me.
What belongs to you, or what you think belongs to you, and what does, now, are two different things. Are you expecting someone?
Yes, I am. Jim Diedrichson. I asked him to come over here because I'm going to find out if he knows anything more about this gang. Maybe I can get some ammunition. Hi. Come in.
Good evening.
So, does it feel any better being yourself as opposed to Bennett Matthews?
Yes, it does.
Geraldine, I think you know Jim Diedrichson.
Yes, of course, Mr. Diedrichson. Good evening. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Well, I'm so glad at last to have the chance to tell you how grateful we are for your persistence in trying to find Raven.
Oh.
And now I understand why you were so anxious that day you came to see me at the station.
Well, I deserve no thanks, but I have to tell you how much regret I have about this whole experience, especially for Raven.
Oh, yeah, I regret it a lot, too.
Well, I'm glad you called me anyway. I wondered how you're doing after your ordeal, if there was anything I could do for you.
Yes, there is. You see, I'm having a worse ordeal right now, and I think you can help me.
How?
All right. I want you to tell me everything that you know about every person involved in that scam and exactly why they did it.
But I've already...
I know. You told me about Calvin, and you told me about Clifford, and you told me about that rat Johnny Gentry, and you told me about Mitzi, what's her name. But I want to know about the rest of them, particularly those Wilson brothers.
Well, I've already told you everything I know about the Wilson brothers. Smiley was the one that started it, and then Hector was in on it too, and then slowly, as we all started to drop out of it, Hector and Smiley continued on with it. They saw a way to make their fortune. And at the end, they decided that there was nothing that was going to stop them.
They paid the ultimate price, didn't they?
Yes. I'm afraid I'm going to feel the responsibility of locking Smiley in that jail for the rest of my life.
But that was only circumstance. It was a terrible accident. You didn't plan it that way.
Yes.
Look, I don't care about all that. What about Nora? Is it true that she was blackmailed into this scheme?
Whatever gave you that idea?
Because she came over here today and said that Spencer forced her into it.
Raven, you can be sure that nothing Nora Fulton tells you is the truth. She's a pathological liar.
That's exactly what I thought. What about Spencer? Spencer is the one I want to know most about. Tell me, what were his motives?
I can't help you. I don't know Spencer. I don't know what his motives were.
Well, all I know is he's still involved in this game. And he's trying to get me again. He's trying to force me into poverty. See the financial spot that I'm in. People are trying to take my fortune away from me.
Sorry I can't help you more with that.
We're deeply in your debt for the help you have given us. Raven owes you her life. There isn't any question of that. Isn't that true, Raven?
I suppose so.
What do you mean you suppose so? If it were not for Jim Diedrichson, you wouldn't be holding this conversation right now. I think he should be rewarded in some way.
Thank you, Mrs. Saxon. But the only reward I want is forgiveness. Not just for me, but for Cliff and Calvin and Mitzi. They didn't know. I didn't know. And we wanted no harm to come to Raven. None of us did. Well, in that case, if there's anything I can do for either one of you ladies, please let me know. Thank you. I'll show myself out.
Good night, Mr. Diedrichson. Raven, that young man was asking you for something. Forgiveness. And you didn't respond.
Hey, look. Those people hurt me. Deeply. You have no idea how I agonized every single day for weeks. And I'm sorry, but I can't just tell those people, hey, it's okay, no problem. Besides, I have more important things on my mind.
Be that as it may, I think your mind, as well as your conscience, would be better served if you would stop trying to deny the truth.
I am not denying anything.
Oh, you are.
Geraldine, you are the one that is supposed to be standing by my side.
Raven, stop it. You know perfectly well that you have already admitted the truth to me. The man you married was not my nephew. He was Jefferson Brown. Now, you may not have known that before you married him, but you did find out eventually. You knew about it months before he died, and you collaborated with him in the deception.
Yes,
and you know perfectly well why you did it.
Of course. Because he is the only man I have ever loved in my life, and I would have done anything for him.
Yes, because it kept you living comfortably.
All right. But that wasn't the only reason. You know me like a book. So you know I loved him. And if you love me, you'll help me. Please help me. I can't do this by myself. You have to stand by me, Geraldine. You must.
This doctor that you were talking about, Chief, here, you said that he was going to be here when I arrived.
I told you he'd be here shortly. Now just relax.
I hope you understand that Dr. Cavanaugh volunteered to conduct this inquiry.
Well, do you expect a show of gratitude from me?
It wouldn't be misplaced.
And a little recognition of Michael Karr's efforts wouldn't hurt either. It was his idea to review this autopsy report. So if the results are as you're predicting...
Well, you see, that's what I don't like about this whole thing. You're all acting as if everything depends on this inquiry, on what Dr. Cavanaugh says when he finally arrives here. I say it just doesn't count.
There are times when the truth has to be established.
Look, I am Schuyler Whitney. That man that you are dragging up out of the grave is Jefferson Brown. I don't see how you can deny that after you heard that woman's confession.
Well, she's denied that confession, so you need this corroboration. Miles, how'd it go?
Answer's right here. Let's take a look at the photograph.
May I see it, Miles?
Oh, sure.
Yes, it's unmistakable.
As you can see, the scars just below the left shoulder blade, shaped rather like a backwards question mark.
Exactly like the scar described in Jefferson Brown's medical records.
Which means there's no question mark about his identity or yours, Mr. Whitney.
So the whole time you thought I was on a cruise when I was really running for my life. Isn't that ironic?
I wish to heaven you had gone on a cruise.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should go on a boat and just get away from all this pressure.
This hardly seems the right time, Raven, with everything so unsettled.
Everything isn't unsettled. I told you that man is a fraud. He may look like my husband, but he is not Schuyler Whitney.
Raven...
I don't want to hear anything about my already admitting the truth. If I said anything that stupid, it was because I was out of my head and didn't know what I was saying. Is that understood? I'll get it. Hello? Oh, hi, Mike.
Raven, it's important that I talk to you. May we come over there right away?
Who is we?
Myself and, Schuyler Whitney. Raven, you must believe that I'm doing this as a friend. I have no bias in this matter. I'm not here as the district attorney or an officer of the court. In fact, I hope we can avoid getting into what could be a disastrous legal battle.
Well, will you just tell me what happened? Obviously, it's in his favor.
Tell her, Mr. Karr.
We were able to get some information, reliable information, about a distinctive physical characteristic which distinguished Jefferson Brown from Schuyler Whitney.
What do you mean, a characteristic?
Jefferson Brown had a distinctively shaped scar on his back.
You couldn't have missed it, Mrs. Whitney. It was kind of shaped like a backwards question mark.
Well, I never saw any scar. You must be mistaken.
You mean you never saw your husband's naked back?
There is no question about the existence of the scar. A medical report made while he worked for the State Department established it, and a second autopsy has just been performed. It's there.
And I have no such scar on my back. I trust you don't want me to prove that here in your living room. I should say my living room.
You're lying! You're all just lying. This is just one big conspiracy. You want to punish me just because of what Sky did to Gunther Wagner and Bobby Gerard.
I assure you, those crimes have nothing to do with this one. This is clearly a case of outright fraud.
Well, I am not giving up my house. And I'm not giving up my name.
You may have to give up more than that, Mrs. Whitney.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about jail.
Schuyler, is this really necessary?
Well, you heard, Mr. Karr. A crime was committed here, a very serious crime involving millions of dollars.
And as I also said, Mr. Whitney, we want to avoid a legal confrontation.
Yes, but I may choose not to avoid it. I may choose to charge Mrs. Whitney with fraud.
You wouldn't.
You are his wife. You shared his secrets as well as his bed.
Well, I didn't know the truth when we were married. I didn't find out that he was Jefferson Brown until...
Mike, may I suggest that you allow Raven some time to herself now. Time to digest all this and then decide what steps to take.
That's agreeable to me.
Very well. But these steps better be taken soon. I'm tired of living like a pauper.
I'll be in touch with you, Geraldine. Take care of it.
I've lost everything.
Raven, surely you must have known it would be inevitable. You knew that the first confession you made about your husband was the truth.
I hate the word truth.
Well, at least you won't have to hide it anymore. That should be some relief. Not to have to worry every minute about what you say and what you do, or when some small discrepancy will give you away.
No one would have ever found out if it hadn't been for those despicable people who made me think I killed Jinx Avery. It's all their fault.
Be logical. Yes, what they did was wrong. But you can't blame them for the lie you told.
Well, no one would have known it was a lie. I'm sorry. I know you think I'm terrible, but I can't help it. What else could I have done? I couldn't just give my husband away.
I suppose you could call it a moral dilemma.
Yes, I had to stand by his side.
There were alternatives. You could have persuaded this Jefferson Brown not to go through with the deception. You could have used your own influence.
No, he never would have listened. He had a will of iron.
Did you ever try to make him listen?
Oh, Geraldine, you just don't understand how it was.
You might try telling me about it.
We were married in this very room. I was so happy. I've never been happier in my life. I mean, I've been married before, and I did love those other men, but Schuyler Whitney, he was everything I have ever wanted in a man, and richer. And then I found that picture.
What picture, Raven?
Oh, well, you know, Schuyler was so secretive, and he had that little private room with all his private little papers. If he hadn't been so private, I wouldn't have been so curious.
Yes, that sounds like you. Is that where you found the photograph?
Yes. And it was obviously taken in Switzerland. And the very first thing I noticed about it was the fact that Valerie Bryson was in it. And then, on our honeymoon in New York...
Right. I want a pair for tonight, and I want a pair for every evening this week and matinees. Oh, yeah, I really wanted to see that one. I heard real good things about it. Uh-huh. All right, so you'll leave the tickets at the box office. Good. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Schuyler, where did you get that scar?
Oh, well, you know, I hardly ever think about it anymore. It's a minor accident some years ago.
Oh.
I never told you I was perfect.
And that was when I realized the meaning of that picture. That the scar on Sky's back was really the other man's in the picture. Jefferson Brown.
So, Schuyler didn't just admit the fraud, he was found out.
Yes. And then he confessed it. He told me everything.
No, that's right. I wasn't a dead ringer for Sky, but people who knew me slightly would never know the difference. Especially after the plane crash.
Of course. They would all figure it was from the accident.
That's right. Even little scars that were left from the operation, they could be easily explained away. But the most important thing was the people who knew Sky well, I mean the people here in Monticello, hadn't seen him in 14 years. And he only had one living relative, one dear old aunt.
Geraldine. And you fooled her.
You bet I fooled her, just as I fooled all those bankers and the lawyers. You know, I'd be surprised how well people treat you when you've got money, Raven. It may be the single most important attribute of wealth. And I knew if I could fool Geraldine, I would have it made. I'd be Schuyler Whitney for the rest of my life.
You became a co-conspirator and remained one, even after his death.
Well, I couldn't just give up everything. My house, my cars, my clothes, my jewels, my furs. Without those things, I'm nothing.
That's been your whole trouble all your life, Raven. Thinking those things made you what you are.
Yes, you're right. It's not the things that are important. It's the money. And now all the money belongs to him. All of it.
Well, Spencer, we're finally there. We finally made it to the end of the road. Is your cup here?
The last time we drank to the end of the road, Raven pulled that rabbit out of her hat.
Yeah,
You know, I should have known that she was going to deny that confession she made to me.
No more rabbits this time, Spencer. This time we got the law on our side. Soon we're going to be drinking fine champagne and not this cheap stuff. And we'll be drinking it out of crystal. We're not going to be drinking out of paper cups. To you, Spencer, to you who made it all possible.
I'm just glad it's over, Sky.
Well, it's not entirely over. There is one other thing. Remember a long time ago I promised you that when it was over, I'd make it up to you? I'd give you whatever you wanted? Well, the time has come. What do you want?
I don't want a gift, Sky. I want a job.
You want a job? No, Spencer, I'll give you some money if you invest it properly. You can live on it for the rest of your life.
No, I don't think I'd enjoy being a rich bum any more than a poor one.
Spencer, you're not a bum. Didn't you tell me once you started working when you were, what, 12 or something?
Yes, I dropped out of school to haul lumber for my father until he died and the yard failed. At that time, the only jobs in town available were with the wealthy families, servant jobs. Seems like I've been someone's servant ever since. I don't mean for this to be a sad story, Sky. I have done rather well. I have acquired an education that I probably never would have gotten. I've met some interesting people. It's just that right now I feel that I should be doing something other than opening car doors, answering doorbells.
Well, you're certainly capable of it, Spencer. I mean, I've seen you at work, and you're a pretty sharp cookie. You're a little bit devious, but you're sharp.
Thank you.
You're honest, too. And you're stubborn. Those qualities that I can use.
How?
Do you want a job? I'll give you a job. I'll give you a very important job. I need somebody to manage my affairs. I'd just like to be my business manager.
Well, for the time being, I don't think I mind answering a door. My God.
I thought nothing could surprise you, Spencer. Well, is the boss here?
Hey, I'm here, Gunther.
Well, I'll be damned. It's true. You are alive, huh?
That's right. Here, grab that. I'm alive, all right. We both have come back from the dead. And now my staff is almost complete.
Good luck.